Welcome to the Co-Parenting Conversations podcast, brought to you by the Center for Divorce Education. With renowned psychologist Dr. Donald Gordon, we will delve into the complex world of co-parenting during and after divorce and separation. Join us as we explore some of the emotional, legal, and practical aspects of parental breakups, helping you navigate this transformative journey with wisdom and guidance. Whether you're currently going through a divorce, contemplating separation, or supporting a loved one in their journey, the Center for Divorce Education is here to empower you with knowledge and offer you a roadmap towards a brighter future. The information presented in this podcast is intended for educational purposes only. The presentation of this material is not intended to constitute mental health therapy or to diagnose mental health disorders. The presentation of this material is not intended to constitute legal advice. Participants are encouraged to discuss specific legal questions with a licensed attorney of their choice.
Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 5 of the Co-Parenting Conversations podcast by the Center for Divorce Education. I'm Jaimie. And today I'm here with my colleague Chelsea and our executive director, Dr. Don Gordon. Today we're going to discuss cheating in a relationship. Well, more specifically, how to overcome cheating and self-care after a divorce or separation. So Chelsea, actually, I'll let you start us off today.
Infidelity is a hot topic in our line of work. I think one of the best things you can do when trying to overcome being cheated on in a relationship is to really focus on yourself. Create micro goals, develop a sense of accomplishment and a healthier relationship with yourself, and find graceful ways to boost your own self-esteem.
I think cheating can be so hard to handle because it really does leave a lot of people wondering what they did wrong or why they weren't good enough or, how someone could hurt them so badly. So I really think that when we focus more on ourselves and feeling better about who we are with or without that person, it can really help. Obviously, that pain or anger may last a while, but it won't be forever. And remembering the things that are actually important, like your mental health and your children, can be really good for people to get over that pain faster, I think.
Absolutely. Doing what's best for you and your children and focusing on them can definitely help your own mental health as well. And of course, we don't mean using the children against the other parent or trying to be better than the other parent. Just simply doing the best you can for your kids.
And that actually brings up the other thing we were going to discuss. Cheating usually indicates that someone is done with the relationship. Maybe not always, but it is a pretty good indicator that the person was unhappy enough in the relationship to cheat. So maybe they fell out of love, maybe they needed something that the relationship couldn't provide, or maybe they were just unhappy. Regardless of why they cheated, which, by the way, I'm definitely not condoning, they chose to cheat, and that usually indicates the end of the relationship. Most parents are so overwhelmed with their feelings of anger or hurt that they do use the children's against that cheating partner, which in turn, of course, only hurts the kids. Let's go ahead and bring on the expert, Dr. Don, and hear his thoughts.
As you can imagine, the person who was cheated on is feeling pretty devastated and their self-esteem plummets. They don't feel very loved. They don't feel very desired. They feel like they failed the other person somehow, causing cheating. There's a number of negative thoughts that the person cheated on goes through. A lot of these simply may not be accurate, but the problem was with the cheater, not having enough honor and integrity to stay true to the relationship. It's important to get over this by focusing on your positive qualities instead of beating yourself up. Focus especially on your parenting. What are you proud of as a parent in your relationship with your children? Because that's something you can be reminded of every day when you're with your children, the positive qualities. It's also a really good way to keep yourself from obsessing about the cheating is by being in the present moment and playing with your children, talking with them, interacting with them, doing activities with them. And they'll really, really benefit when you're that present with them. This also means not being on your phone when you're with your children, to resist the temptation to be entertained by your phone and really spend time with your kids. And that's something that you'll always have as your relationship with your children. And it's quite different from the relationship with your partner. And try not to get so angry with the other parent that it causes you to denigrate them to the children. It may cause you to want the children to reject that parent as someone they can't trust either. But the parent-child relationship is really different from the parent-parent relationship, and you need to resist the temptation to use the children as weapons against the other parent. In extreme cases, when this happens and it results in parental alienation, where the child doesn't want to see and be with the other parent, that's usually one parent getting revenge on the other parent by causing the children to reject that parent. I'm not talking about situations where the children have a good reason to be afraid or dislike a parent, like that parent abused them or neglected them. But I'm talking about a more common situation where the child has a good relationship with the other parent, and the parent who was cheated on wants to destroy that relationship. That is a horrible thing for the children that affects them for the rest of their lives. And quite often they end up rejecting the parent who caused the parental alienation. Other things that you can do to help yourself when you're in this situation, if you were cheated on, is to take really good care, like getting good exercise, getting good sleep. Exercising is really good because it gets your juices flowing. It makes you feel better after a workout. Best to be out in nature as much as possible, to be paying attention to all of your senses when you're in nature, the sights, the smells, the sounds. Whenever you're in the present moment, you're not worrying about the cheating because it means you're focusing on what's right in front of you. And this is something that'll help you in the long run and help you immediately. Another thing you can do is write in a journal where you can put your thoughts down and about what's happened with you, clarify your feelings about it, be real clear on what your feelings are. Don't run away from your feelings about the cheating, the sadness, the anger, feeling rejected. Be real clear what your feelings are. Don't dwell on them, but don't run away from them. So writing in a journal can help with that, just like talking to a dear friend can help with that as well.
A lot of times after someone gets cheated on, it really does make them feel bad about themselves. But blaming the other parent doesn't change anything, So remembering who you are and the things you're good at or like to do is definitely a good idea. How long would you suggest that someone should wait after being in a relationship to get into a new one? I know a lot of parents ask us about that.
It's a good idea to wait for at least a year before you get into a new relationship to give yourself time to process what's going on, to get back to being comfortable with yourself, having the feeling that you can keep yourself occupied and entertained, and you don't have to have someone else to do that. If you jump into another relationship right away, you may not discover that you're perfectly capable of entertaining yourself and taking care of yourself. So you may have been dependent on the previous partner in a relationship, and then you just jump into another dependent relationship where you're dependent again on that person. A lot of parents want to get into a new relationship after a relationship has failed for reassurance that they're lovable and attractive to the opposite sex or to the same sex, as the case may be. And they want that reassurance that they're attractive and lovable. And that's normal to want that. But there's problems with that. And if you're not waiting, whatever problems you had in a previous relationship are more likely to be carried into the new relationship. It's also really tough on children who, if they're young, they're more likely to start getting attached to a new partner. And if you're jumping into a new relationship, there's a good chance that won't last. And if your children are getting attached to that new partner, then that relationship ends, and that's disruptive again to the children. So they're having to go through another loss. And the more of these disrupted relationships the children see or experience, the more likely they're going to develop serious mental health and behavioral problems.
If you haven't really healed from that relationship moving forward, it's more likely, that the next relationship can end the same way. That makes sense. Taking time to really heal from a relationship is important before jumping into another one. And letting the kids readjust is just as important. So hopefully our listeners have benefited from your words, and we wish you all the best. Thanks for tuning in.